who works in education in Africa, I am always shocked when I have to explain to Africans, specifically parents and other educators, and I work in Senegal, why we need to be promoting local languages, why a child should be fluent and confident in being able to read and write and express themselves in their local language. The pushback that I always get is that why do they need that? They need to just learn French or English because that's the language that the global world, that's the language of business, that's the language that will get them far.
My father always told me something I didn't understand until I became a man. He used to always tell me, Timothy, there are two ways to respect a man. You shake his hand and you learn his language. I used to think he meant good manners, but now I realize he was describing power. The moment you refuse to let a child speak their own language in school, the moment you punish them for using the tongue of their grandmother, the moment you associate their mother's language with ignorance and backwardness, you've already begun the process of mental colonization. Now, you may think you're raising a smart child, but what you're really raising is a consumer for foreign brands, foreign institutions, and foreign identities. Let me explain how deep this thing goes, because it does go real deep. When you tell a child that their language is uneducated, you're not just attacking vocabulary, you're attacking their self-worth. And then it trickles everywhere. It trickles into brand awareness. When that child becomes an adult and sees an African-made product and a Western one side by side, the Western one feels safer. Not because it's better, but because we taught them that everything African is less. It trickles into education. A foreign NGO builds a school and suddenly the African-built school loses value, even if it teaches the same content. Why? Because you planted the seed that foreign equals quality. It trickles into medicine. A local clinic versus a foreign trained doctor? We all know which one people are going to choose, not because of skill, but because of perception. It even trickles into development funding. A local business submits a proposal and it's ignored. A foreign business submits the same proposal and it's approved. Why? Because our entire generation was programmed to believe that local equals weak and foreign equals strong. And it all started the day a teacher beat a child for speaking their mother tongue in class. That's the day Africa began a free marketing campaign for Western brands. We don't even realize it, but every time we insist on English or French as the measure of intelligence, we are literally giving Western corporations the blueprint for how to beat us on our own land. The language you choose to educate your children in becomes the lens through which they judge value. So when your healthcare instructions use English, when your safety instructions use English, when your textbooks use English, your praise and validation use English, you've told your population that everything worth believing in must come from outside. And that's how Africa lost its competitive advantage. Not because of corruption, not because of elections, not even because of leadership, but because we surrendered the battlefield of identity. So what's the temporary fix? We have to borrow the power of the diaspora, African Americans, Caribbeans, Africans abroad, to create cultural reinforcement loops. When a popular African American musician wears African fashion, it elevates the brand. When a Caribbean influencer uses African skincare or eats African food, it raises its visibility. When a Ugandan doctor in Chicago endorses a Kampala-made medical tool, it shifts perception. This is brand strategy, not charity. Because diaspora visibility can shortcut 20 years of cultural reconditioning. But like I said, that's a temporary fix. So what's the permanent solution? We have to rebuild our identity from language outward. If your business label is foreign, you already lost the psychological battle. If your school rewards English but mocks Luganda, Yoruba, Twi, Zulu, Igbo, Kiswahili, you already trained your children to reject themselves. And once people reject themselves, they will reject their economy too. So before I go, Africa's competitive advantage is and has always been Africanness. The culture, the language, the rhythm, the memory, the flavor, the identity. You erase that, Western brands don't even have to fight you. You already surrendered. Let's move.